Hey guys, welcome to the channel today. We are looking at the Sith Trio and a little bit into how they work and how to mod them, I'd say it is, that kind of thing. So if we just pop straight into the game, and hopefully I have the right list already here. So let's just the loading spinning time first. There we go. We're trying to get Grand Inquisitor. We don't need to look at him right now. There we go, squads. Okay, the Sith Trio tab. Now, the Sith Trio, one of my favorite factions in the whole game, both because of the lore, because I do love Knights of the Republic 2, a brilliant game. Not as good as the original, but we're quibbling here. Now, three members: Darth Trey, Darth Nihilus, Darth Sion. And to be honest, they kind of work as a group on their own. You don't really need a fourth and fifth guy. Just before you on the tab, of course, I've got a tab for JML beating, which does work. I've done it before on a stream actually. I use Savage and Darth Talon as well. But really, to get the most out of the team, you can use those three on their own, or maybe with Talon. And Savage or Press can solo a lot of teams like CLS or Grievous and so on. But Savage is a topic for another video. So Darth Trey. Let's just look at it very quickly. So I mod her for speed and health. Why do I want her for speed? I wanted to take a bunch of turns because she does a lot of damage. Plus, I want to get isolated out really quickly. I want to get her to put on Deceptive Strike, which gives you daze and other negative status effects. I want her to do her big hit from Saberstone, which really does look amazing as an animation. Bam! 3 light image to the face. Can't be evaded as well, which is really good. So I want her to be fast to get a lot of turns. The other thing I want about her, as I said, is health, and the reason for that is because of her kit. Now, her kit is very, very complicated and has an Omicron. Now, this is her first Zeta. It's kind of straightforward. If you attack at a turn, she deals damage to anyone who attacks at a turn. That makes her a perfect opponent for Mon Mothma, for the Geos, for Admiral Radis, for Grand Inquisitor / Reaver. Right, all these teams, CLS, who attack at a turn, she destroys them with this ability here, and it's very effective. Very, very effective. Works very quickly. You can suddenly kill off characters within the first turn almost before you actually take a go, depending on what kind of team you're fighting against. However, I guess what really makes the Sith Trio super elite in Grand Arena nowadays is the Omicron, and it's this bit here, which is a Zeta Omicron combo. And the thing is, the Zeta on its own is okay, right? She cleanses debuffs, which is great. And she gives stacking protection to the next turn. Okay, that's cool. Problem is, when she cleans debuffs off of whatever Sith character it is, she hurts them. So they lose 5% max health, up to 75% depending on how many debuffs. So I'd love to know how many debuffs 75. Like, imagine having that many debuffs on your character, but be that as it may. And you get stacking offense, so that's kind of a minor thing. However, the Omicron is where it goes from like a good team to an elite team, that like an A+ team that you need to have if you're going to do Grand Arena properly, if you're going to be a competitor that wins Grand Arenas without GLs and so on. You get critical damage, you get max health, and that is why I'm mod her for health specifically, just so you know, because she and other characters in the trio have max health buffs, so I put max health in there. And offense, when they get a debuff this time, they get stacking protection at the end of the turn. They clean the debuffs, but rather than hurting, all Sith allies gain critical damage, health steal, max health, and offense stacking to the end of the encounter. It doesn't go away. So you can stack your health up. As I said, mod for max health, you've got the 40% to start with. You can get up to another 100% from that there too. So if you have max health, modding works out really well. Don't get any speed at all. It's really important. You don't get any speed from any of the 3 Sith Trio uniques or leads. So you do need to have speed in the characters from your modding if you want them to be fast. There's no built-in speed like say in a Mon Mothma team, or in a Bad Batch, or Shaq T team, where they give this the uniques or the leads give speed. Troopers, right? These don't have it, so you have to have speed built in at the start. And then I guess the cherry on top, it's already really good right at this point. You've already got stacking protection, you've already got stacking offense, max health, you've already got max health bonuses and max offense bonuses to start with. All this is great. But We skipped a bit with Talon because that's kind of like, the last bit though, this is what makes it the special bit, right? Darth Nihilus, Darth Sign, Darth Talon, full blown, 90% health, all their cooldowns are reset. Now Darth Nihilus starts with his Annihilate ability, his insta-kill ability, for anyone who's not a GL, on full cooldown, which if I'm rightly, we can check it just now, because gotta look at him anyway now. Nihilus next. He starts with an 8-turn cooldown. Now he can reduce the cooldown with Isolate from Treya. He can reduce the cooldown with Drain, which you can do as AoE. However, if you do this right, he can have an instant kill turn 1. Straight out kill somebody. And this allows him and the Sith Trio to partly work over Jedi Master Kenobi. Can't kill him, can't destroy him. Kenobi himself is too hard. But if you want to take apart the team, you can put a pre-taunting tank in there, which will take Mano Sukatano's insta-kill, and then you can use Nihilus to annihilate Kenobi, that is to say General Kenobi the tank, and then you can start to work around the rest of the team. Now, in general for Nihilus, I like to mod him for max health. Why? As I said before, Trey is unique already, Trey is elite already, gives you max health. The Omicron gives you max health. But there are two other, I suppose, extra reasons why I would give it when it comes to Darth Nihilus. First, you can't regenerate protection with Nihilus himself, he can't, but he can regenerate health from health steal. So having max health is a big health pool. Obviously makes him harder to kill, which is great. Plus, any enemies you kill stack on top of his max health with their max health. So again, this max health pool idea is getting bigger and bigger all the time. Now, at the same time, depending how you want to do his character, his unique is kind of whatever. Except for the bit at the bottom here. You see, when allied Darth Sion or Darth Treya are inflicted with a debuff, Darth Nihilus gets 10 meter and 30% max health stacking until the end of the encounter. So again, you get the 40% from Treya's unique. You get the 100% from the debuff sequence. You get the max health from instant killing people, and now you get 30% max health when they get inflicted with a debuff. You're just stacking his health so much. If you have it stacked high already, and you're just topping it up every time, my goodness me, he is almost unkillable. Of course, the other thing you can add is, I don't have this data, but I'll just flick it for the 7 just so you can see the non-data version, which is if you use him as a lead, and I do this occasionally, you can possibly get his instant kill to go off much more easily. It turns all protection into health. And then health steal is increased massively. Now, that means you don't have to go through protection to lose 10% health to trigger his annihilate anymore. You just need to be hit like once basically, and it probably will do it, probably. Especially from a GL like Jedi Master Luke, for example, right? You can get hit really easily like that and get knocked below 90% health really easily. And then Trey's Omicron kicks in and gives you protection to protect you whilst you get the health back from health steal. So very nice way to get the insta kill off really quickly if you want to. If you're not finding a team that has attack side turns like say Darth Treya does, this is a good way to get around it. Now our third member of the Triumvirate is Darth Sion, all the Darths, right? And Darth Sion I find to be the least useful character, but at the same time, every team needs a tank, right? If you're going to have a successful team, a tank is kind of essential, and Darth Sion is our tank in this case. Now, his abilities are kind of limited. Inflicts pain, which means he gets bonus damage. Kind of whatever. Torment's a little bit more interesting because it dispels buffs, which can be useful against some teams. It can also work against Radis because, of course, that actually triggers a spark of, is it Hope of the Resistance? That's not Hope of the Resistance, Hope of the Rebellion. There we go. Quicker. But it does work against other teams where you can get rid of all the buffs and inflict pain on them, which is very nice. And then it can't be evaded. I mean, we always like it that can't be evaded. You've got an Annihilate that can't be evaded, you've got a Saber Strike that can't be evaded, and now you've got Torment that can't be evaded. So you've got each of them has a non-evadable ability inside of their kits. Of course, Nihilus, I should have said this before, on his basic dispels positive side effects too, so his basic is pretty useful as well. Now, this is a little bit interesting, just a little bit, in that if you have pain, firstly, he can't be evaded again. He's a non-evadable guy, this guy. But more importantly, if you've got pain, you can recover protection. But recover protection is actually a very rare ability if you look at the whole game. There's not very often you can see protection recovery. So the fact that a tank in particular can recover protection is really interesting. So maybe I downplay Darth Scion's utility, but I find him to be more limited perhaps. The last thing that he's got about him is Health by Hatred, which is pretty cool as well. There you go. Maybe he is better than I thought. Dispels all debuffs. Well, I mean, it's kind of whatever because Trey is doing it anyway, but this means he can be working on his own, I suppose. Recovers 100% health. Again, max health pool really helpful rather than protection, because if you recover max health 100% and you've got a massive health pool thanks to Trey, thanks to your own abilities, thanks to your modding, harder to kill. 100% Tommy there. If you die when you have hatred, you come back to life. 100% health again. Plus 100% defense and offense. Offense, if you imagine the stacking here, because you've got the offense from Treya, the offense from Treya is unique as well, and then you've got your own offense, all this offense to the ceiling. Of course, you get offense from Nihilus Lead if you use Nihilus Lead rather than Treya Lead. So either lead will give you offense up. And again, 100% 10 meter when you die, which is all of this basically means that I mod my Scion for health and defense, because if I'm going to use max health pool, again, I want to keep max health pool high. But as I just said, the 100% defense with Health by Hatred, and that means you get damaged half as much. If you get double the defense, half the damage. So the more defense you stack in, 100% defense plus whatever defense you already stacked on top of that, harder to kill, harder to hurt. Again, brilliant for a tank who's also got stacking health from Treya's abilities as it is. So he builds on his own defense if Treya is pushing in health to him. So all in all, they work beautifully synergistically, the three of them together. But they can work individually. Treya can work in other Sith lineups. Not so much in Darth Revan, of course. Doesn't really work in Darth Revan, Darth Malgus, but she does work with, say, Palpatine, for example, and Darth Vader. Scion can work as a tank in almost any team, to be honest, because he has his own buffs and all stats together, so he works on his own. Plus, his tanking ability, again, is all his own, so he doesn't really care about what anyone else is doing. And Nihilus, again, reduces his own cooldowns with the drain move, has his own stacking health, again, kind of doesn't care in so much space. It's not specific of the abilities written into his kit, so he can kind of work with other teams. If you just really need to insta-kill someone quickly, you can maybe use someone like Thrawn, for example, to switch turns to him to help make him go faster and the like. So that is your Sith trio. You can, as I said, use them with other characters such as Savage or such as Darth Talon. Talon is mentioned in Treya's lead and unique, but generally the trio unknown do a job. Okay, so this is from Grand Arena. This is a close one, so I decided to use 4 people rather than 3. But basically, I'm Radis versus Treya, so they're all Relic 5 with the Omicron on Treya. And as you can see, Nihilus cleansing straight away whenever he takes a turn. And you can see the bonus protection that Treya, Scion, Nihilus, and Savage are all stacking. For this fight in particular, I don't use Scion's AoE straight away because you can cause Radis's Hope of the Rebellion to kick off quite quickly, right? So we don't bother doing that. We isolate Kato so to stop him taunting. Savage just does his job, and you can see hopefully that Savage hits progressively harder both from his own Omicron, but also because Treya is feeding through offense from cleansing debuffs that they keep landing. Like I said, Treya Nihilus is basically like cleansing off positive status effects. We keep not touching the special from him. Just bam, that is the wonderful special attack from Treya. You can see quite quickly how, despite the fact that that's a Relic 9 Radis, a Relic 8 Cassian, you just wear through them real quick, right? Like they're doing all their best to try and break through your defense, but because of stacking protection from Treya, you can see that purple bomb on all the characters. It is impossible for them to break through. And in the end, it becomes a real easy procession. Once you get rid of Radis, I mean, it's just like a little tricky thing. Thinking, oh my goodness me, he's almost got 100%. But then Nihilus with the insta kill, blown away, and that really is that, right? Because the Sith Trio are really that good. Right, so this is a different set of footage. Ignore the t-shirt, I did this on a different day because I did a Grand Arena on a different day. This is the Sith Trio fighting against Inquisitors, and not a Grand Inquisitor, unfortunately, but you can see very quickly that we started to take apart um, the Seventh Sister at the back there. I mean, Treya's lead is just taking her apart, basically. At the same time, you can also see very quickly that all the debuffs that the Inquisitors are landing, so the Purge, the Daze, the ability block, the speed down, all of that stuff is making our guys A, really thick because you need the protection is super high, and B, really strong. So when you start getting some of these hits in a second, when once basically they have all that stuff, I mean, that's 130,000 from that special ID kills killer easily because she was in the red anyway. But you can see that really quickly we start to take them apart once we get past this first minute, right? Because now we've got them built up, and then here, bam, there goes all the protection one hit. You know, it's and Cyan is not a character who hits hard. Um, Basically, any counterattacks, any attacks out of turn, basically they're just annihilating him. And it's funny because it gets to the point where Nihilus actually only does his ultimate ability, if you will, right at the end because he just doesn't need to. The stacking protection means they never actually get him below 90% health, so he doesn't reset his cooldowns despite the fact they have the Omicron. And bam, he's second consistent on the red there, and his basic taking it out. Um, but at the same time, you just see, look at that. You're doing massive damage with some of these moves right now. See all her protection going in one hit there from a basic. You can see very quickly the Sith Trio take apart any team that lands a lot of debuffs, or B, attacks out of turn. Inquisitors, Radis, as you just saw before, the CLS, um, they are all susceptible. Bam, 70,000 on the basic. So that hopefully is a little bit of an insight into Sith Trio. As you can see, the only Zetas slash Omicron I would recommend is Darth Trey. You don't need analysis, you don't need sounds. That's fine with that. And Relic 5 can already beat high relic other teams. You can beat Reva and Radis. You can beat CLS. You can beat things like JML with the right setup despite being Relic 5. You don't need Datacrons or anything like that. You just need to use the team properly. Sith Trio, one of my favorite teams in Grand Arena. Very, very good. A Swiss Army knife of being able to take apart attack out of turn teams. So, hopefully that's helpful. Hopefully that gives you some insight into how I mod my Sith Trio, how I use my Sith Trio, which abilities you might need to do, and what level you need to get them to. Please leave a comment down below. Please like and subscribe. Please let me know which teams you might want to see next. At the minute, unless anyone says anything, we're probably going to do maybe the Bounty Hunters next, or at least the Fennec Bounty Hunters, or Dr. Afra possibly, because those teams are really fun. But we'll see how it goes. Let me know down below. And as always, guys, stay safe and keep on gaming.